Yo, what's up, friends? And welcome back to.
The Nerd Guys Podcast.
We are in season 2. I'm still taking it back. How are you guys doing? Did you guys enjoy the last episode? It was a very good episode. I also enjoyed it.
It was a very packed episode.
Yes. Today we're going to be talking about something else that, we have to deal with, and that is going to work. Going to work at our, your 9 to 5 or whatever time you must have to go to work. So let's get it started.
What are we waiting for?
Huh?
So what are we waiting for?
Oh, nothing. I said we can. Would you like to start us out, sir?
Sure. Wow, this is going to be a doozy to edit. Working a job you don't like.
Where is it? Where's the what's that book?
I'm literally waiting just so we can cut all this out. That's why I'm not talking yet.
Okay.
You don't have OneNote on your laptop?
It's on my laptop, but I'd have to open the tab on my thing. There we go. What is this nonsense?
Alright, so go ahead and get started.
Okay, thank you. No, it's so weird. I couldn't find the freaking bookmarks on my freaking thing. Alright, so we all have something in our lives that we must do that we don't like. Whether it be chores, school, exercise, responding or cleaning up your emails. In some shape or form, these are like obstacles and sometimes make life hard or unbearable. With the exception of school, most of these can be optional. Your mileage may vary depending on what household you were or raised in. But what if there was something that you had to do that would be beneficial for your life, but you didn't like it? Today, we're talking about working a job you don't like. So, what do you think about that?
I've worked a couple jobs. Some great, some not so great. And all of them, I thought I could do it, but I guess I can't. Hearing myself is just like throwing me off.
Okay.
But yeah, I worked some jobs that were great, some not so great. And all of them had one thing in common. And that thing was I needed money. Like, I feel like if I didn't need money, I'd be able to find something that I enjoy doing.
Right.
Before I get into that, I'll back up. I started off working at my high school back when I was in school, and I worked under my principal, who was the owner of the school as well as principal, obviously. And it was interesting. It taught me a lot. The one memory that sticks out the most to me was I worked at the after school program watching the kids, and I wasn't the only one. I was like help basically for the person who actually, like the adult that was there that was working. And one day I was quote unquote late. I arrived on time, but my boss, aka my principal, told me that she had seen me in the schoolyard 5 minutes after I was supposed to be in there, like in the building with the kids. And I'm like, no, I was there on time. I started walking away from the basketball court, like on time, to go and be in the building with the kids. And she was like, oh, well, I'm docking you that amount of money. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, but it was like 2 minutes. She's like, yeah, but you're supposed to be in there at this time. I'm like, cool, whatever. I didn't argue. This was like my first introduction to work, basically. And I have since learned that a lot of places give you a grace period to an extent, like 5 to 15 minutes. But that was the first milestone, or the first incident in like a laundry list of places that I worked. I've never truly wanted to have a 9 to 5. I've always wanted to be my own boss, only because, like most people, our boss's job is to follow the company's direction, and you know, you might not always believe in your company's direction, but it's hard to just up and leave a job. So like, if you go, oh, I work at, and this is just an example, I work at Walmart, or I work at Best Buy, and when I start, the company is like, oh yeah, we want to increase sales by 20% over the course of 2024. And you're like, alright, cool, that's cool. So like, you start working there, and you up your sales by probably like 5% or so. You get like an extra 10 sales a day for like 3 months. And then midway through the year, they're like, oh, you all are doing so well. Instead of, you know, going up by 10%, I want to take up sales by like 40% now. And you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. We were told one thing, we worked to achieve this one thing, and now you're like springing something on us that's almost triple what we were originally told we were supposed to do. Like, that's something that's small, but then the little things add up. So, in this example, if you're taking sales up by 30% and your boss starts getting on you because the higher ups are getting on them, and all the higher ups are doing is looking at they're looking at metrics, they're not actually in the store to see what's going on. It ultimately comes down on your head, because, or you and your teammates' head, because they're like, okay, well, this is where we're at, this is what the data says, and we want you all to, like, we want to know why you all aren't performing like we asked you to. And it's like, because the data tells you one thing, But in the real world, like, your projections were one thing, but in the real world, stuff doesn't work like that. And the data that you're looking at from the real world, there are a bunch of different variables that contributed to why that data looks that way. You're looking at numbers and not asking why. Mm-hmm. And that, at least in my experience, is what drove me away from a lot of jobs. Like, I've worked in the fast food industry. I've worked in, I guess you could say like, a grocery store.
Retail, yeah.
I didn't know if that fell under retail or not.
Yeah.
But, I worked in, like, I worked for my high school, like I said, back when I was in high school. I've also worked for a summer camp. That was a really fun experience. And I worked briefly in pharmaceuticals. Well, not briefly. I work in the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
But so far, the pharmaceutical job is the best job that I've had, just because the company that I work for treats its employees with so much respect. But again, sometimes, and what I'm learning is it's not always any fault to the company itself. Sometimes it could just be the person that your boss is. Like, it can make it a little distasteful. So me personally, I never truly saw myself working a job, only because I've always wanted to be my own boss.
Yeah. For me, I've also had, different varying jobs, and Andrew said that he worked for Walmart as well, which is something that we talked about.
I know several people that have worked for Walmart, you included, and I have heard horror stories about how, and this isn't a diss to Walmart, but I've heard horror stories about how they can
they drive people away.
Yeah.
There's no sugarcoating in anything, man. They drive people away. They make people not want to work for them. But that's not even like the example that I want to like start with. My actual first job was when I worked, did this like work program for E3 Center West, which was the GD center that I was going to. And what they did was that they paid you for coming to school. And but also like you would get paid for like helping out and offering tutoring if you were someone that had more experience. And I offered a couple of like people to like tutor because I was good at math. And that was it was fine. I was getting like I got maybe like 140 like a week or something like that. It wasn't bad, and I was able to buy like I think I bought my Wii U with that, I feel, or something.
That's good, yeah, when you're young.
Yeah. And my actual first job that wasn't ShopRite was actually working at this energy provider. So like electric and gas,
The pyramid scheme job.
Yeah. Because the base pay was...
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that's not a pyramid scheme because they didn't have you going out looking for people to work under you.
Yeah. I mean, technically it's still a pyramid scheme because you gotta climb the corporate ladder.
I'll tell you where you go.
But no, like for those specific jobs, like those are the like.
I'll break down what a pyramid scheme is later on in the episode. Just remind me to break down what a pyramid scheme is. Like, you want to stay away from jobs that are pyramid schemes.
Yeah. No, like I said that was a pyramid scheme because of like the way it was set up. But like I for our audience it'd be great. But I worked at that job and it was fine. I had a guy who trained me. He was very nice to me, but he was telling me like I didn't want to. He's like, oh, you're very nice. Like I don't think you're gonna do this job. Like this is, you can find something better than this. And the morning we had a meeting, and we were told not to try to upsell anyone. We were told like, if someone says that they have a better plan, don't try to like undercut them, because we can't do better than what they have. Immediately we get to a lady, she has a better plan, and she lives by herself, and she's a widow. My manager that was with us tried to upsell her. It didn't happen, thank goodness. But immediately I was like, nah, I can't do this. Because the lady, she was like old enough to be my grandma. I'm like, you're not going to have me out here trying to lie to people. Like, I care about earning money, but I care more about my integrity.
Exactly. Your integrity farm.
Yeah, like, I just couldn't do that. So I didn't work that job. And then I was able to start working at ShopRite. And it's not like I had a bad time at ShopRite. I actually had a fantastic time at ShopRite. I worked there for 2 years. Met a lot of my friends. The one who's sitting next to me, I met at ShopRite. And it's funny because like I didn't go into like ShopRite trying to make friends. Not like I was being mean or anything. It's just like something I wasn't expecting. But I made so many friends, and I worked, tooth and nail, and I did my best to really become someone that they could rely on, and tried to keep doing stuff so that they could call me and be like, hey, can you do this for us? And it got to the point where like they could start trusting me, and then I got to be a cashier, and stuff started rolling in as I was doing good things. And what made me stop working at ShopRite is I had a better deal at Nautica. So like, but if I were to put retail in a nice little package, I want to get out. I want to get out.
Retail's rough.
Because like, you meet some wonderful people in retail. I have met some wonderful people working with and just customers. Some people are just fantastic. And that's kind of the beauty of retail a little bit, is like you just never know who you'll meet. But at the same time, it's the flip of the coin, because you have some people who are just awful. Like awful work-wise, awful people who just don't seem to understand. Like, it's like, oh, well, you work here. Yeah, I work here, don't live here. This is two separate things.
100%. Like, I'll say this, like, people that work in retail, they have it hard, but I'll tell you someone who has it worse.
Yeah.
People that work in the fast food industry.
I was gonna say fast food service and retail, I feel like go hand to hand, because like it's that same mentality, like where people are like expecting so much out of you that you cannot give them. Oh, well you're the one behind the counter, you should be able to do this, blah, 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 blah.
I'm not. Sorry, not sorry, I'm not able to. Like, it. When I worked for a fast food restaurant, I will not name the restaurant. I don't know if you named the restaurant already, but I'm not going to name the restaurant.
I didn't say anything.
Alright. It was the worst job that I've ever had. I worked there for one summer vacation in between college semesters. At the end of the year, not the year, at end of summer, when I was getting ready to go back to school, they told me, oh, we could, like, if you stay to work, we can make you a manager, blah, 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 you could be on the night shift, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no. While I would have been making more money, and I would have had, like, 40 hours a week, I would have had to put in time there, plus study, because I was a biology major.
Yep.
Time in the fast food restaurant, managing other people. I would have got great experience doing it, but I would have been, I don't know, I think I was like 18 or 19 at the time.
Yeah, you would have been stressed out.
Yes, because I was already stressed by school and then dealing with the public every day. Mind you, I actually have really good manners. So, like, at least I'd like to think so. I treat everybody with respect.
Yeah.
And I had somebody come into this restaurant one day and talk to me like I was the one that personally messed their order up. And I'm like, whoa. You just came through the drive-thru. The person that took your order and rang you up in the drive-thru and me are two completely different people. But if you'd like to go talk to the manager, I can go get the manager.
Yeah.
And like, that's when they were super, yeah, go get the manager. I want to talk to the manager, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, I'll go get him for you. And I just like turn and walk away. Like, I'm nonchalant about a lot of crap. And that's one of the things that I was nonchalant about because I had never been disrespected so crazy in my life. And I've been disrespected by customers who had messed up orders whom I didn't ring up. I've had customers who disrespected me because I accidentally typed something wrong in their order and missed something. Mind you, they're firing off 1,000 different things that they want at me, all with their own individual, customizations. Yeah, like, and they get angry because they're like, oh, you missed blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I got 95% of your order right. But because I missed this one item, you're like losing your mind wanting to get something free. I will say this. I do not agree with the customer is always right. That is the one thing that I don't agree with.
Me either.
I do not agree with that. For all you customers out there, and I count as a customer now as well, because I don't work with the general public anymore.
I mean, whether you work with the general public or not, like, you're still a customer.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, that's why I count myself as a customer, because, like, I don't work with the general public anymore. But as someone that has worked in fast food and retail, I will tell everybody listening to this, you making a big fuss about something makes you look stupid. It's not going to get you anything free. And I'm telling you right now, if you catch the right person, they will more than be willing to lose their job.
Absolutely.
To set you straight. Like, because you get angry because your order's messed up. And, instead of just coming up and politely being like, oh, hey, here's my receipt. You can see I got blah, blah, blah in there. And it's not here. Like, everything's untouched. Look. You want to make a big fuss, and like you can tell the people that are trying to get over. Yeah. That working at that fast food restaurant, like that was one thing. The second thing was, I had a boss that, smoked ganja. Right before they came in, and just about every day, their significant other worked there as well beneath them. Mm-hmm. And they were real buddy with everybody there. And because I was like a clean cut person, they basically looked at me like I was a square.
Yeah,
and wanted to try to clown me. And I'm like, no, that ain't gonna fly. Like, y'all can go fuck yourselves. Like, I'm like, see, y'all are stupid because you just got a job as a manager. Like, you not just got a job, but you're a manager. You're not the manager. Because in the place that I worked, they were they had the title of manager, but they were basically just shift supervisors. Yep. And I'm like, you might be making, because at the time I was only making $7.25 an hour. That's why for everybody that, like, no offense, I know we've had our own personal conversations, but like for anyone that complains about making $10, $11 an hour, I'm like, bruh, y'all haven't had it hard. Nope. I worked like 20 hours a week on $7.25 an hour, and I got paid weekly, and I had to use that money to buy books for college the following year.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was hands down the worst experience of my life, because these people, especially my manager included, always wanted to make fun of me, and I'm like and mock me because, you know, I didn't use slang while I was at work. I don't use slang while I'm at work because I try to stay quote unquote professional. Well, I didn't at the time. My job now, I'll explain about that later.
Yeah.
But like, my manager used to try to clown me, and I'm like, y'all just sitting here and try to clown me. I'm in college. I'm like 19 years old. Y'all hit your ceiling. I'm here because I need a job to fund books for later. And y'all want to clown me? Alright, cool. Funny story about that. I'll bring it full circle. All the BS that I went through there, I had to base my manager once, the same one that was trying to clown me. And I did it in front of her boyfriend. And on my last day, I was like, I was stressed out because I had tendered over 100 customers and it's like a 6-hour shift. And I know someone out there is like, yo, that's not a lie. And this isn't a diss to anybody that works fast food. I have the utmost respect for them because they take a lot of crap throughout their day. I was stressed out and tired. My coverage was late. The person that was supposed to come in relieve me on the front register for the main dining room, or I should say for the dining room when you all walk in, and they were like 15-20 minutes late. I was pissed because I'm like, hey yo, it's my last day, I'm ready to go. I could have walked off by now. I was in the middle of tendering a customer, and I'm not this type of person. Never have been. But I was so fed up that my manager, the one that tried to clown me, their significant other, the dude that was on the grill, who was one of their, buddies, they all walked in together, fried. I was so pissed. I waited for all three of them to clock in. And after they clocked in, I clocked out, and I told the dude that was taking over front register, I was like, alright, bye. Like, you can take over. My manager was like, you can't leave in the middle of taking care of a customer. I was like, yeah, well, today's my last day, and I won't be back, so that's not my problem. And I looked at the person, I was like, I apologize for you being caught in the middle of this. He was like, nah, I understand, go ahead, have a nice life. I was like, I get a lot of crap here, and school's starting up again, so needless to say, they never called me back to work there again. But I'm doing bigger and better, and this is why. Now I work for a pharmaceutical company, which is not far away from said restaurant that I used to work at. I walked in there, the same person that was my manager when I was working there was still the manager there. They had messed my order up. I was like, oh, no problem. They were like, oh, let me go get the manager. The manager walked up. They were looking at me like they knew me. And I looked at them with this, like, shit-eating grin on my face. They're like, looking at me like, do I know you? I was like, I smiled and I was like, oh, you remember? I was like, do you remember me? Mind you, I was taller than I was before and a lot slimmer. And a lot more built, actually. I asked them, do you remember who I am? They were like, nah, I don't know you. I was like, you don't remember I used to work here like last year? And I saw the dread set in their face. Then they tried to play it off. They were like, "Oh no, I don't remember you." Blah 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 blah. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, "It's funny. I work around the corner now for XYZ pharmaceutical company, and they got ghosts." Mind you, I walked in. I had like the fresh tee on with the expensive jeans and like whatever J's were out at the time. I had facial hair. I had like beard, mustache, everything. Whole thing. Fresh cut, everything. It was like the greatest FU moment that I think I've ever had. And I'm like, as I was standing there waiting for him to correct my order, that person, the manager, was literally in the back, kept looking up. They were whispering with another person who had worked there when I was working there. The person that I was actually cool with. Don't you know that person that I was cool with came up there and was like, "Oh my god, hey, what's up, blah blah blah." I busted up. I chopped it up with him. I was on my lunch break. I chopped it up with him. Not gonna lie, they were feeling the kid. But they were like, "Yo, is your job hiring?" I was like, "Yeah, we're always hiring." I told him where I worked. Told him to fill out an application. I never saw him, but
hey, I mean, you extended the olive branch.
Exactly. And like, again, hands down, worst experience that I ever had. And to all of our viewers, it might seem like we're telling stories that are unrelated, but all of these stories are the culmination of why we're both like, we don't want to work for anybody else.
Yeah.
Like,
we want to be able to like make this our careers, not only to like build stuff around ourselves, but to like have better experiences.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's nothing to say that there's anything wrong with working for somebody else. Like,
yeah,
there are some quality companies out there that actually take care of their employees. Like, for outside looking in, Google's a good example of that. Mm-hmm. They know that their jobs are stressful. Yeah. Coding is very stressful. IT is also stressful. But they give their employees a lot of benefits and perks for working there. Mm. Like sleep pods. I think on-site living is one of them.
Yeah.
They have cafeterias where the food is free. It's all paid for. Like, you don't have to actually go and pay for anything. And like, companies are just now starting to learn, hey, if my employee is happy, the business will do better because the employee will be more productive.
That I wish that was a process for one of the places I worked at.
Yeah, we'll call it Stop EB.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say this one because like I don't, but
we'll say that it is a store that is adjacent to technology. It's not Best Buy. It's not PC Richard & Son.
No.
It's not Walmart. It's not Target.
And it's funny because, like, I would still go back to Walmart.
Oh, yeah. No, you seem pretty happy.
Because, like, when I was there, when I worked at my, in my position in pickup, I was having a great time. It's just all the nonsense. Like, what I said earlier, it still rings true. Like, Walmart does not make you want to work for them.
And it's usually not...
It's not most of your people. Because, like, most of the people you work for, like, my manager, she was fantastic. Like, at first, I didn't think she liked me. But I worked my way to being, like, proving myself as, not just another face in Walmart. That's just how I am normally. I'm like, you're not just gonna... think I'm just here to just be here. No, I'm being here and I'm gonna learn stuff and I'm gonna actually try to be something here. Try to make something of myself while I'm here. And because I always like to try to make an impact on where I'm working to not only like enhance my own experience, but like, you know, enhance people around me. I love having the opportunity to build everyone up, you know, myself and people around me. And I love 100% a lot of my people that I worked with while I was at Walmart, whether you are my team or you were in a different department. There are some people that are exceptions, like my team lead, who I don't hate, but I feel like he's fine as a person, you know, but not as a boss. No, not at all. My big boss, like the manager of the store, I think she may be I don't know, but as far as I'm like concerned, she just doesn't know how to run that store, like at all.
I've had similar experiences at stores, and one thing that I recently learned is that it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you work, there's always going to be something that your boss does that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
But because your boss is your boss, and they're getting orders from higher up, they're like, you don't get that respect to be like, hey, Jamie, Nerd Guy's got 30 views on the last video. I think we should try to shoot for 45 on the next video.
Yeah.
I think to go in that direction, and this is just an example, everybody. To go in that direction, I think we need to, you know, increase promotion. Like, we need to get out 10 promotions a day over the next, you know, week promoting the new episode. And you can literally say, I don't know, I think it should just be 5 over the course of the next 5 days. And we could sit down and talk about it because it's just us.
Yeah.
But if we had a third person involved who was actually in charge of doing the promotions, and they have to listen to us, and we have to decide on something, it would be a little bit stressful for them, because if they went, oh, well, I think, you know, it should only be 2 throughout the week, you should be good, and they have prior experience, and we go, nah, I think it should be 5, definitely 5 to 8. And you're like, yeah, 5 to 8. And we just kind of like steamroll over their opinion.
Yeah.
That's where you could grow to not like your bosses. Like, I have had experiences in the past and current experiences with leadership at the jobs that I have worked. And that to me is the thing that makes it where you don't really want to work at a place where you don't feel listened to. And it's like, we're all people, we're all adults. Even if we're teenagers, you know, fresh minds have good ideas. Just because you've been doing this for years doesn't necessarily mean that your idea is the best idea.
And not only that, but like, in some cases, you know, with my big boss from Walmart, my district manager at pickup was like, why isn't all this stuff done? And she had no idea. Why? Because she wasn't paying attention to like what her bosses was saying, like you said. And for me, her thing is like, she wanted to have a store that she could run. Okay, that's good. But in order to run a store, like, you gotta focus on not just one, you know, aspect of your store. And what was funny to me, and back to what you said about like the idea is, at first her whole thing was we weren't gonna use the old room that they had for like set-up shops, like, you know, the pop-up like phone stores. Because she was like, oh, well, just in case someone moves in there, blah, blah, blah.
It's like, okay, well, no one's there right now. We could use the space. Like, I understand it would be a hassle if somebody was like, hey, we would like to rent out the space, and then everything would have to be moved and reset up and reorganized. But no one's using it.
While we have the time to improve our times to get this stuff out to people's cars faster, which was our problem, and having a space where we can have just our stuff, because like we have our stuff in the back, yeah, but we have to share with like Cap2 and I forget the other position, but the other positions or whatever. Basically, all the stuff, all the people back there, we gotta share with, which is fine, but that wasn't really like the biggest Walmart. So like,
like I said, leadership is the thing that can make or break a company.
Yeah. And
like everywhere that I worked, leadership has always been the place where I wound up deciding I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
And that's only because we have differing ideas. Like, me personally, I've always been someone to consider myself a leader. Mm-hmm. And when you're someone that has a strong mind and you're borderline stubborn, or you are stubborn, and you're like, hey, I think I have a good idea, and someone immediately shuts it down and goes, that's a good idea, but that's not the direction the company wants to go in. And it's like, okay, I understand that that's not the direction the company wants to go in, but when I thought of this idea, I thought of it in a way where it can be folded into the company's current direction.
Yeah.
But your boss or your leadership isn't willing to hear you.
They're like, nah.
Yeah, they're like,
nah, we've been doing it this way, so we're just going to keep doing it this way.
Exactly, and that's the number one thing. Like, there are a lot of companies out there that claim to be progressive that really aren't freaking progressive.
Nope.
And it's like, they're progressive, but they're progressive conservatively.
Taking it back to, the other store, that was their main problem is they're so stuck in their ways of, oh, we've been doing this for years. And it's like, yeah, but no one wants that. No one wants to come in and hear a whole spiel about something.
Hey, do you want to buy this? You want to sign up for this credit card with like 30% interest? No? Okay.
Are you sure? Wait. Not even okay. Are you sure you don't want to buy this thing that you... Are you sure you want to buy this? You don't want to buy this thing that you have no interest in?
Yep. Are you positive you don't want to buy this thing that you have no interest in? You want me to ask 30 times if somebody wants to buy something, but you get mad when I only ask once because the person said, no, I don't want to. Because customers get annoyed with that.
Yeah, exactly. And as me... being a customer in the store that I'm talking about, my whole thing is I don't want to be asked 30 times about this thing that I'm not interested in. Oh, would you like to, put this to the side for later? Are you sure you don't want to do that? Because if you do it right now, you get like $5 off. It's like, that sounds nice, but...
it's not enough of an incentive.
Exactly.
Because you want me to open like a line of credit just for me to not use it and then charge me for not using it.
And then what if I forget? What if I forget all about it? That's not helpful.
Exactly.
And sometimes they don't call you to be like, oh, hey, you got this thing. Did you remember that you had this thing? It's like, no.
Exactly. Work is crazy. Work is very, very interesting. And it's hard. One of the other challenges that I face, like I was saying earlier, I'm somebody that considers myself a leader. One of the challenges that's hard is being a leader or having a leadership mindset and working under somebody who also has a leadership mindset.
Yeah.
And it's difficult because you have your own ideas, but it's like your ideas aren't quote unquote good enough because you don't have the experience that the other person has who might be older than you.
Right.
And it's like, well, I'm never going to have the experience that they have because they've been in whatever industry longer than me.
Exactly.
And if you've been in the industry longer than me and we're both in the same industry, you're always going to trump my experience. But I've done quote unquote tours at 7 other businesses in other varying industries where we did it this way, and it proved effective.
Right.
And that kind of like peeves me with specific jobs. Like, my number one thing, whenever you work in a department and you need help, I remember when I worked at the grocery store. I will not name it. I know Jamie already named it.
I was gonna say, you can say it. I already said it.
Nah, I'm not going to dox any businesses. But the person that trained me when I worked in the grocery department, the person that trained me walked out one day. They were upset because they didn't get the job as manager, which I completely understood.
Yeah.
I 100% understood. So many people looked at this person like they were a douche. And I'm like, no, they work really hard. Like, are they a jerk sometimes? Yes. But it's because I gradually, like, it's because they're not getting their flowers. And I gradually saw the descent of this person. When I first started, they were super cool. And to this day, I give that person mad respect. And they worked their butt off, always went the extra mile, knew everything there was to know about the department and the store itself. And when it came time to choose the next manager of the department, or I'm sorry, the next supervisor of the department, the manager of said department, whom, in my opinion, complete total crackpot. I get they have their stuff going on in their life, but I'm telling you right now, I want to dox them so bad, but I'm not going to. And like, I want to dox them and hope that they're listening, but I'm not going to. They know who they are, if they ever wind up hearing this episode.
Yeah.
But they passed over the ideal candidate for somebody who had been working at the store longer.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoa. This person's been working at the store longer, but they know just about as much as the person who you passed over, and they have a way crappier attitude.
Yep.
But this place was unionized, so technically the person that was there longer was supposed to have the job. And I'm like, nah, fam. And because of that, the person that was training me, in the middle of training me, decided one day, yeah, I'm not coming back. I walked in and I'm like, yo, where's the person that's training me? Like, I still don't know everything. I'm still fresh-faced. And they're like, oh, they don't work here anymore. And I'm like, why not? They called in this morning and quit.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what does that mean for me? Because, like, y'all gonna send somebody back there to help? Oh, yeah, we'll send somebody back there to help you, but they can only do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, but what does that mean about pulling the load off of the truck that comes in, or signing for the load when it comes in? So, like, for those of you who don't know, whenever a store or business receives something in their shipping dock, you have to sign for it. I had never done it before, and it was not taught to me. I basically had to learn on the fly. I had to make sure there were everything was good, and then pull all these pallets off the truck myself. And I didn't just do it one night. I did it so often, and Jamie remembers this.
Yeah.
I did it so often that at a certain point, I taught him and everybody else in that department how to use a jack.
Yep.
I taught all of them how to use a jack. I learned how to use the forklift. And the reason why I said I'm not going to dox this place is because I may not have had my certification to use the forklift, even though I was kind of coerced into using it because it was a part of my job. So I had to learn how to use a forklift, I had to learn how to use a jack, and I had to pull 30 pallets off a truck just about every night by myself. And not only that, but set them up out in the store for the overnight crew. I got so good at it that I was basically running the department by myself, and I became just like said person that had quit, my trainer, through just sheer experience. I knew everything that was in the back room. I knew how much of everything was in the back room, or quote unquote in the warehouse, and I knew where all of it was located, as well as could tell you exactly what was about to expire out on the floor. Now, my boss one day tried to tell me that I had to take accountability for something. And I'm like, what? Dude, I know this department inside and out. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. And I'm telling you right now, somebody standing here who's in college still, because I was a senior about to graduate, I know that I am more intelligent than you. And what I study in school every day is 10 times more complicated than what we're standing here doing.
Right.
We're standing here doing simple math. I do upper level math, anatomy and physiology, and biochemistry and molecular biology. So, you tell me, you're telling me that I need to take accountability for something because I made a mistake. I made a mistake, and I did take accountability for it. I took those lumps. I was like, yeah, I did it. But to have my manager have this talk with me, I'm like, first off, I could do your job with one arm tied behind my back and both eyes closed because you don't do jack all day. You move a couple pallets all day. Me, I pull an entire truck by myself, set everything up by myself, move pallets out the way to grab stuff out the rafters by myself because somebody from another department needs it and a customer wants it. And I do this by myself while tending to the entire department and making sure I'm on the floor for customers to be able to ask, hey, where's X, Y, and Z?
Yep.
And here's what happened. Here's what happened, listeners. The topic of manager came up because the store had come under new management.
Yeah, we got a new manager around the time.
Yeah. I was leaving. I put in my 2 weeks notice. And this person ran to me and was like, hey, we could make you a manager. You know, it made it sound really, really good. It sounded like candy in my ear. We can make you a manager, give you good hours to make sure that, you know, you can still do your schoolwork, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, sounds good. I heard him out. But ultimately, I was like, no thanks. And they're like, super shocked. They're like, why? I'm like, A, we're unionized, so you can't do that anyway.
Yeah, because there
were several people in front of me.
Not only that, but like the one person, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. He was propped up for the position.
Even though he was not the logical choice.
Yeah, but
I was the logical
You were the logical choice, but he was the, you know,
next in line.
the next in line, or should have been the next in line.
Yeah.
But like you said, the manager skipped the line and was like, no, I want you. And it wasn't like, oh, that was like a bad, and like, it was bad for him because it was like, bro.
Yeah. But ultimately, and this is a testament to my character, They were trying everything in their power to keep me there because of the level of work that I did. Now, I won't go super in depth to my current job, just because at this point in time there might be, I won't go super in depth into this job, but I'll say that my current job, I've encountered things where, you know, I feel like I should have moved up the ranks, but because I'm working with people that are intellectually equal to myself to some degree, or slightly more experienced in the field, I get looked over a lot. And if it wasn't for my immediate supervisor, I would have left the company, because it felt a little condescending, and everything that my college professor, one of my college professors had told me, was right. When you work with scientists, they're underhanded, they're sneaky, and they are very condescending. They're D-bags, basically. And, like, that's how I felt about my one boss. Like, they're a great person, but when it comes to leadership, they lack a lot.
Yeah.
And me personally, I'm like, I'm not saying that I'm like A1, the best worker ever, but I feel like when it comes to leadership qualities, my leadership qualities are superior to theirs, because I have the attitude where it's like, yeah, it's stressful, yeah, I'm going to have to learn how to do this on the fly to get it done, but, you know, pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
And I've been forged over the years. Like, I've had shared experiences which, you know, might not be as might not be as bad as, like, some people that I know, but at a certain point, you kind of have to rotate, because you get so used to seeing things from one perspective that you get comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I feel like, you know, can make you not want to work a day job, because it's like, you get people, the higher up you go, the harder it is to advance, because you're literally waiting at that point for people to either leave the company or die or retire. And you're like, well, I wish I could be a manager or a supervisor or some higher up in this company, but I can't advance because the person that's above me is so comfortable in their position and the money that they're making with their work that, you know, they might be working to advance, but they can't advance because several levels above them, you have people that are comfortable with their positions, comfortable with the amount of money that they make, comfortable with the job, and they don't either A, want to take more work on, or B, move.
Yeah.
Or retire. Ultimately, it comes down to, in my opinion, not fact, but in my opinion, someone who is older, working in a position, and they don't want to leave the position. And you can't make someone retire. I don't believe you should make someone retire.
No.
But people that have held a position for, I don't know, 10, 15 plus years, I think it's about time for you to either move to a different position or consider moving to a different position where you learn something new and gain a different perspective, or you know, go to a different company that can afford to pay you more for doing more. Yeah, and like ultimately that's another thing that kind of like screws people over. The whole, at some point in time, we all in our career, for everyone that's listening, you will gain so much experience that you will not be cost effective for your company anymore. And it sucks saying this because we run Nerd Guys podcast.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when we get to the point where we can hire employees, one of our employees will be with us for so long that it will no longer be cost effective to keep them because they will be too expensive. We won't be able to afford them.
Or they may be able to just do this so long that it becomes natural, or they might break off.
Yeah, I was about to say, either way, they'll have so much experience that they're either going to be like, you know what, we can't afford you, or they're like, okay, I'm going to do this on my own because I've done it for so long now that I feel confident.
Yeah.
And I'd rather the second option, them leaving to start their own competing business, than the first option, because a lot of people get screwed over by the whole, we can't afford you, so we're going to cut you. Because we could find room in the budget if you weren't here.
WWE. Who said that? What? Who said that? I didn't say that.
And it's underhanded tactics like that that make rub people the wrong way. And like, I know when I set out to start a business, you know, this being one of the businesses, I don't want to run my business like that. And I want to prove that you can run a successful, you know, high revenue business by not pulling underhanded tactics like that.
Yeah. Because like I had a lot of the same experience, you know. For me, like I worked on the floor. I worked when I started ShopRite, I worked as a bagger. Started as a bagger.
Same.
Yeah, we both were baggers, and I started to, like I said, I started to really become the person that if you needed something, you could call me. You can call Jamie. Go get Jamie. Jamie will do it for you. But I did put my foot down on some things. Like if certain people weren't working, I'm like, don't look at me. Go get them. Because I didn't want, as much as I would work for and work for you and everything, I'm not going to do someone else's work. That's not like some cases you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to get into that as well, like the whole notion of
like sometimes you have to suck it up and you have to just do it.
Yeah.
But if there's an option, I'm like, nah, don't look at me. I'm not doing it. But like I'll go to my prime example. When I worked at Walmart, we ran the pickup department. Like our boss was our boss, but like the people who made it function was us.
Right. You were the people that did work every day.
And I became, you know, I went from being the new guy to a right hand. Like basically, if someone needed something, they come right to me. If they needed like a direction on anything, if they had any questions, they either call me on my phone or they come and find me and be like, hey, this is reading wrong in the system. Is it like, you know, what's up? And I go, either if I knew, I'd be like, hey, yeah, just do XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And it got to the point where I was doing a supervisor level job. I was, you know, pickup supervisor along with my other friend. We were the two supervisors. And when they picked, you know, our actual supervisor, you know, he worked, but
bare minimum for more pay.
All this man did was spend time on the computer and talk about the analytics. And like, I understood the numbers. I knew what needed to be done, but what I wanted to tackle was customer engagement, which was one of our biggest things, and employee retention. Wanting to make sure that people want to actually come back and work.
Yep. And that's the thing. At certain jobs, You can tell. You can usually gauge how well the job is by how many people have been there and how long they've been there. And again, you were in the same vein. Like, you were doing the job of the supervisor minus a couple things.
Right.
But when it came time to pick a supervisor, you were passed over for the person who was a supervisor in a different department who had more quote-unquote experience, even though they had experience in another department supervising it. You would have had to just learn how to supervise people.
Which I already had training for.
Exactly. Whereas, like, you would have had to just learn how to supervise people, which you already had training for, and you understood the work because you worked in the department for so long. But you're passed over because somebody else on paper looked better.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is what blows me up with jobs. Like, that's what boils my blood, what grinds my gears, whatever you want to call it. That's what makes me angry. Because you all, everybody, like, I'm not going to say everybody, certain individuals bust their butt every day and give 110%. It becomes the norm for the higher ups because they see you're giving 110%. But when it comes time to promoting somebody or giving them a pay bump, pay raise, and a new title, they always skip over that person that gives 110% because it's like, oh wait, hold up. While you would be perfect for this job, we can't lose you in the job that, like, the position you're in now, because if we take you to this job, we're not going to have anybody to give that same level of energy for your current position. But what they miss is, hey, if this person becomes supervisor, maybe they can change the team dynamic and have multiple people. Although they're not giving 110%, if everybody, or if taking this person that gives 110%, making them supervisor, if they can get their team, whom they worked with already, to give 102% apiece, the entire department raises up. But they're like, nah, we need somebody that has experience supervising already to come in and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no.
Or in some cases, at least with my case, someone that will listen to the big boss. Because, like, my boss said if it was up to her, she would have picked me.
Yeah.
Because she already, like, by the time she came in, I was done everything that needed to be done. Like, things were clean, people were on the floor that needed to be on the floor, and someone was up front. How hard is that?
Yeah.
How hard is it just to have people on the floor doing the things that need to be done on the floor? Like, if I had to go fill out paperwork, like, if I was a team lead, I would have people like, hey, you go do this, I'm gonna join you in an hour. That was weird. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
That was so weird. Sorry. What was I saying?
We were talking about, like, you ended with, I'll be back in about an hour, and then we could talk about whatever. I'll be on the floor with you all.
Yeah.
And that's another important, like, leadership aspect that a lot of people don't have. Like, they're not in the trenches with their team.
And that's where I was, and that's why that's the main reason why everyone liked working with me, is like, I would give everybody something to do, but then I'm like, as soon as they're like, hey, I'm either on the floor, like, shopping with them, or I'm in the back, organizing, or I'm up front. I'm doing one of those things. I'm not sitting back there on those computers, you know, because
Futzing around all day.
yeah, like, he gave me some things that I could do on the computer, but I'm like, bro, why, and I did them, you know, for a little bit, but I'm like, I could be doing way more. And, like, as soon as someone was like, hey, there's like, there was a day, I think it was a Tuesday, 800 picks came in, and, like, picks are like the order, so 800 orders came in to our system. and it was like 7-ish. Yep, yeah, it was before 8 o'clock. I'm on my way. This man's calling me. Hey, can you come and? I'm like, bro, there are 800 orders. There are 800 orders right now.
That's me. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
I know, but I'm looking at that crazy too.
There are 800 orders.
There are 800 orders. Like, why are you calling me for this right now? I need to get on the floor because, like, I guarantee you, once our big boss comes in, she's not gonna be happy. And 8 o'clock hits. She's there, and my boss is there, and my boss calls me. He's like, "Hey, Susie. Let's just call her Susie. Susie is blowing up at me right now about the orders," and I'm like, "Big boss, I got you. I'm already on the floor." And she's like, "Oh, where's such and such?" And I'm like, "Guess where he's at."
Guess where they're at.
Guess where they're at right now. And she's like, "I was the main one." And then she calls me back. She's like, "Yeah, I cursed him out." And then he comes to me later. He's like, "Oh, why did you tell her where I was?" I was like, "Because there were 800 picks and I'm being yelled at. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, like, because I'm out here doing your job and you expect me to cover for you? No.
Like, "Oh, you should. I was hoping that you would not tell her where I was." Why?
What? Why? Why would I not do that? Like,
so I'm supposed to just take the fall
yeah.
while I'm on the floor doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
While you just sit back there on your pretty butt, printing out stuff that we can talk about later on in the day when we are not trying to run around with our heads cut off. Because a different day, he was trying to get everybody to come up front to have a meeting.
Yeah.
And same thing, 1,000 orders. We did not have time for that.
Right.
Ugh.
And it's like, yeah. Ultimately, what I want to say is this. Jobs suck.
Yeah.
But they can be fun.
Yeah.
The whole notion of, at least from what I've experienced, the notion of, if you find something that you enjoy doing, you'll never work a day in your life. It's true, but you have to understand that every day is not going to be enjoyable, regardless of if it's something that you like doing or not.
Yeah.
Work can be fun if you make it fun, but there are people that make it not fun.
Yeah, and like I said, Walmart is my perfect example of that because I had fun, working with all my people. Like, I saw them as my actual, like, pickup family. Like, we were an actual group. And it got to the point where I'm like, and I say this now, I wish I could, I want to be able to make a business where we have like-minded individuals who actually do want to work and get paid for it, but do stuff that they enjoy while doing it. Because, like, we were a freaking unit,
An absolute unit.
An absolute unit.
An absolute unit.
And it got to the point where I'm like, man, I wish I could just open a place up and go and call them like, "Yo, you want to work with me again?"
Bruh, I've been doing that ever since I've been working at certain places because, like, I've met people in my life. Some people that I met were like computer coders. Other people were like in communications, and I'm like, dog, I promise I won't forget you. Like, that's how I feel about my boy E. Like, my boy E been my bro from day one. And I swear, once Nerd Guys, Kitsune Sai, House of Shadows is able to afford to, hire people to model clothing and merch, I'm like, you already know who I'm coming to. Like,
we have a couple people in mind for that, and you know, Kitsune's boy E is definitely like the top of that list. Like he's
definitely because he has the most experience.
But like, no, for real, because like, when he mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, he's perfect. Like, yeah. I was like, man, I'm over here thinking, I had some good people like our boy D. That's yeah.
He's tall, but like, he's tall, and he's able. Like, I know he's able to do it.
Yeah.
But we do need at least one person that's seasoned that can give guidance, because while I can take photos and edit photos, you know, rudimentarily, I don't know, basic. I can do it very basically. Like, I'm okay at photo edits because I need more practice. But E, who has worked in the acting and music space and whatnot and modeling space, he has more experience. So like, he can guide me on like, oh, these are the type of shots that you should probably go for. This will probably look good, blah blah blah. Because I did a photo shoot with him one time where I just like, I had my camera and I just went out and shot. Like, I can show you the pictures later if you want, but like, they were amazing shots. And we were just doing it in like regular public places. I'd love to get back to that. But yeah, like, since he's worked in the industry, he can give good advice. And like, again, back to what I was saying, though. Ultimately, finding a place where you enjoy working is good. Don't let it be about the money. If you let it be about the money, you'll work in some place that you do not like. Personally, my current job gets stressful, and those are the times where I'm like, you know what, I'm not really for this. But at the same time, there are good aspects about it where I get to learn how to do new things.
Yeah. And
doing those new things is what gets me through my day. It makes me enjoy it. Ultimately, I'm happy to be employed by Nerd Guys. I'm happy that we started Nerd Guys, because like, although to some it might seem like a hobby, it's not a hobby. Like, it's a brand, and we want to grow this brand and build it. Like, eventually, you know, as one half of Nerd Guys, this half of Nerd Guys would love to see the business grow where we start making money and can employ people and turn it into like a legitimate business.
Yeah, let's say I'm happy that we started Nerd Guys podcast, because it's given me a new, you know, look on streaming as a whole, and it's made me feel a lot better as a streamer. And it's kind of funny because like, I didn't think that I would, you know, be in a podcast, you know, all those years back when I was, you know, first doing my plans of being on YouTube. But one, I'm very proud of us because we have made this our thing, and you know, we hope that everyone is able to enjoy and benefit from it. But then also, when it comes to like the business side, I'm very excited because I was already like moving, you know, trying to make moves into doing that for my own channel. But like, again, back to what I was saying before, I enjoy building people up. So like, and I like having a group with me while I do something, because I don't just want it to be me because it's lonely. I love the fact that I get to do this with Nerd Guys, because like, it's not only just a shared experience, but it's a fantastic wealth of memories, and nothing's more beneficial than doing something that you like with other people. That's why I'm so... Yeah, Andrew, absolutely. Like, the more people we can get to build together, the easier it'll be for all of us. Like, we live in a dog-eat-dog world. Let's not sugarcoat anything. This world is not, one for the faint of heart. But if we could manage to work together and, love each other and respect each other, and like, even if we have different ideas and different goals, that's fine, because we're all different people. That's meant to happen. But if we can come together and have the same goal of like, all right, we want to do this and we want to be able to succeed and we want to be able to like have more opportunities for everyone involved, why not? Why not? That's what I was saying before. Like, if I could just, like, when we build this up to be the business that we want it to be, I want to be able to hire some of the people that I've worked with, because it's like, I want them to be a part of this. I want them to have the same opportunities that I did, and that you did, and whoever else is with us. Because, like, working is hard sometimes.
Working sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Because, like, working can be fun, like we said, but, like, I'll go on the fun part. The fun part you'll get from meeting people. Like, I've met so many wonderful people while working. And one of the people I actually saw on Instagram today, and I was like, man, I miss them so much. Because I enjoyed working with them, I enjoyed their company, and I enjoyed the fact that they were basically my right hand when I needed someone at Walmart. And my other friend who was fantastic at running on the floor. I would like to have all these people work together and be like, you can make this money, and you can also enjoy yourself. You can go home, you can go to work happy and leave work happy. That's the goal.
Yeah, like, when I said work sucks, it's because...
I should make one for that, but I...
Alright, never mind. Yeah, as much as work sucks, work can be fun, but work usually only is bad, at least from how I view it right now, when you work to survive. Like, basically, you work because you have to. It's not optional.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, you wake up every day and you go to a place and work 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 5 hours a day for like 30 to 40 hours a week. Your day is pretty much gone. Like, any new skills or talents that you could have learned, you're not learning because you're at this place making somebody else richer. And that's nothing against people who wake up and enjoy going to work, that just want to work. Because, like, the average Joes out there, or the average people out there, they make the world go around. Shout out to all y'all that love waking up and just going to work a 9 to 5. I respect that.
To the appreciate you.
Yeah, well. Exactly. To the individuals out there that are, like, I want to build something and build my vision, it's going to suck waking up and going to work every day. But you got to use that as fuel for the fire to build your vision and make your vision a reality. Currently, I wake up every day and I'm like, I got to go to work again. And midway through my day, when I'm like just tired of what I'm doing and I'm like, bro, I just need something to get me through my day, I think about oh man, I'm about to go home and stream, Super Mario Wonder on my Twitch channel because, like, I am also a Twitch streamer. Or, oh man, I get to go do Nerd Guys podcast with my best friend and we're gonna make, like, a pretty good episode. Or, oh man, I'm about to hit up this car show this weekend and I'm gonna get some good content, or I'm going to do this install and I'm gonna get good content. Like, you have to look at the things that's going to get you through your day. Like before I started Nerd Guys and whatnot, Jamie and I used to go out on weekends. I'd drive around wherever, and I'd take my camera, we'd stop, and I'd just get out and we'd start taking pictures of various things.
Yeah.
Like, photography is another one of my hobbies. And I take all these talents and skills and roll them into one for one purpose. And, as crazy as it sounds, it sucks because, like, one day if I decided to part ways with my job because it becomes a choice between Nerd Guys, Kitsune-sai, and Underground 335 or day job, and I'm like, well, I gotta make the business choice and go with the thing that's making me more money right now because I'm actually running this stuff. It'll suck because I would have been like, you all could have had this caliber of work done here, but you didn't make any openings. And, at the end of the day, it's business. Business is not personal. So, like, work sucks, but find something that you enjoy doing. If it's a hobby, let it start out as a hobby. Keep practicing that hobby, have fun at that hobby, and one day that hobby might wind up being something that you can monetize for yourself. I know a bunch of people that were hobbyist photographers that wound up going from being a hobbyist to doing freelance, from doing freelance to actually opening up, like, their own photo studio. Like, one of the dudes I went to high school with, he's a photographer. And, he's younger than me. So, like, you gotta find your niche, however you want to pronounce it. You find that, you figure out something that you like doing, and you inhabit that space. Like, I've read a couple of business books so far, and literally that's the one recurring theme. Like, if you don't have a lane, make your own lane. Or if you want to inhabit a lane that's already been made, check out the competition. And when you check out the competition, see where you fit in that competition. Or not fit in as in fit in, but fit in as in you could stand out. So, like, you could build something on your own. Don't let anybody stop you. The only thing that can stop you is you.
Yeah. There's a quote that I like to say, and it's from one of the shows that I watch. But courage is the magic that makes dreams into reality. And to dissect it a little bit, you need to have a little courage to step out and do something that's maybe out of your comfort zone. Maybe, is a little bit out of your skill set. Because sometimes you might not reach it. And I think about when I watched Steve Harvey back in the day. A lot of times he would say, like, if you don't make that jump, you may not ever see what was meant for you beyond that cliff.
Yeah. Well, just like Will Smith, like, I'm tired of being, like, where he's like, I'm tired of being afraid. So he decided to, jump out the plane at 50 years old. And he's like, man, if I had never done that, I never would have had that type of experience. Like, you can't be afraid to take that jump. Mm-hmm. And that jump is scary. It's terrifying.
I'm going to tell you right now, being 100% honest, it was hard for me to actually jump to do content.
Same.
And, at a time where I was getting paid a lot from Walmart. That was a hard decision for me. Like when I really sat there and thought about it, I was like, do I want my mental health or do I want money?
We'll get into mental health and work in the workplace in a different episode.
Yeah.
But that is also something like mental health, well-being, and health in general comes before money. And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I get like not everybody has that luxury, but even if you're put in a position where it's like you're living check to check, if it's a choice between your mental health
Or your
/ health
Yeah.
and getting that paycheck, choose your health. Walk away from that job. Yes, stuff might get rough. Yes, stuff might get hard. But if you make yourself sick and have to go to the hospital, you don't have health insurance or you have crappy health insurance, you're going to be giving yourself another bill, which is just going to add to the stress, which is going to physically make you worse, and you'll shorten your lifespan. So like, if it's a choice between working at a place check to check and being stressed out over this, or like because of your circumstances, or walking away from that place struggling same way you've been struggling for a little longer while finding a better job or a better better way to make money, better opportunity, like Jamie said, choose the better opportunity. Like, at the end of the day, everybody's expendable when it comes to business, so don't be afraid to make that jump. I want to end with a quote. Since you ended with a quote, I also want to end with a quote, because I've been wanting to share this quote with you since I heard it at my current job's site meeting, basically.
Okay.
This is a quote by William Arthur Ward. It goes like this. Y'all listening? It says, "The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects the wind to change. The realist adjusts the sails."
Oh, wow. I like that.
Think about that.
I like that.
You want to end it now?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to end on that. So,
oh, man. Whew. That felt good.
please make sure to check out the links in the description below.
Visit the Paperline store. It doesn't matter. By the time this goes up, the sale will be over, but there will be more sales, so don't worry.
Make sure you follow me at Underground335 on Instagram and all the socials. Follow me, Kitsune Sai, on YouTube.
Please follow this beautiful, beautiful man. He works very hard.
Oh my god.
He works very hard.
It's tiring.
Yes.
It builds up, trust me.
I very much appreciate everything that he does, for us.
I feel appreciated.
And also, I appreciate the fact that he does his best anywhere. It always makes me try as hard. So
I appreciate that, Jamie. Yeah, check out some YouTube videos, check out the channels, come join the House of Shadows Discord.
Oh yeah, definitely come to the Discord. It had a major overhaul, and I'm gonna say this from here on out. If you do join the Discord, make sure you to come in, read the rules, and pick your role. That will allow you to access more of the Discord. It's not subs, because we don't have subs here. When we get to affiliate, I will let you know if I decide to do that or not. I'm still on the side of saying no for sub only Discord, but it will depend. It will depend on various things. So, but for now, it is. If you just come in, it is basically locked. Except for the first few tabs. So, come in. Get your role. Read the rules, get your role, and then you're good to go.
Alright. Thank you very much, lovely people, for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, I've been Kitsune Sai.
And I've been Jamie Shadow 9.
We are the Nerd Guys, and we will catch you later.
Peace.
Bye.